My child, do not be afraid. I am always here. My beloved child, I know you are carrying burdens that sometimes feel unbearable. I see the silent tears you shed, the sleepless nights filled with sorrow, and the moments you cry out, Lord, why must I endure these trials? If you love me, why do you allow me to suffer so much? My child, listen to me. You are not alone, and you have never been abandoned. I know you're suffering well, for I too have walked the path of pain. I wept when Lazarus died. I trembled in fear in the Garden of Gethsemane. I felt the sting of loneliness when the world rejected me. But my child, trials are not a sign of abandonment. They are an opportunity for you to draw closer to me. In this world, you will have trouble. But take heart, I have overcome the world. Do you remember these words? I never promised that life would be easy, but I did promise that I would always be with you. Sometimes, I allow those I love to go through hardships, not to break them, but to strengthen them in love and faith. Just as gold is refined by fire and a seed must die to bear fruit, you are being shaped to become stronger and more steadfast. My child, do not be afraid. Take my hand, for I am always here. When you are weary, rest your head on my shoulder. When you are too weak to walk, let me carry you in my loving embrace. Come to me, all you who labor and are burdened, and I will give you rest. So, persevere, my child. Your suffering today is not the end, but a doorway to something far greater than you can see. Trust in me, for there is no trial that I do not give you the grace to overcome. Every tear you shed, I hold in my hands. Every prayer you whisper, I hear. And on the glorious day to come, you will understand that every pain you endured was leading you back to me, to a place where only light, peace, and eternal love remain. My beloved child, have faith, for I have always loved you. My child, trust in me. Suffering is not abandonment, but an invitation into my love. My beloved child, I see the pain in your heart. I know you are silently asking, Lord, why must I suffer? Why don't you take this burden away? You feel alone, as if abandoned in the harshness of life. But my child, listen to me. You have never been forsaken. Suffering is not a sign that I have left you. It is my invitation for you to draw closer to me. When you face loss and trials beyond your strength, it is not because I have forgotten you, but because I am shaping you in love. Just as a potter carefully molds his creation, just as a father disciplines his child with both firmness and affection, I am doing the same with you. I discipline those whom I love and chastise those whom I accept as my children. Do you see? Your trials are not rejection. They are proof that you belong to me. When everything in your life seems to crumble, that is when you realize you cannot bear it all alone. That is when you recognize your need for me, and I am always here, waiting for you to run into my arms. My child, this life is but a fleeting journey, as fragile as the morning dew. But my love for you is eternal. Suffering helps you see your own weakness and my boundless mercy. If you had never shed a tear, how would you know that I am the one who wipes them away? If you had never fallen, how would you know that my arms are always there to lift you up? Commit your way to the Lord. Trust in him, and he will act. My child, do not be afraid. I never promised you a life without tears, but I promise that not a single one of your tears is in vain. I do not promise to remove every burden, but I promise to carry them with you. If you feel weak, lean on me. If you feel lost, remember that I am walking beside you every step of the way. The suffering you endure today may be a mystery you do not yet understand, but trust that in every trial, I am working something greater than you can see. One day, you will realize that every tear you shed today was a seed for the joy to come. And in that moment, you will see that I have never left you, not even for a single moment. My child, persevere and stand firm, for I love you today and forever. My child, when you are exhausted, let me lift you up. My beloved child, I know you are weary. I see the burden on your shoulders, the worries in your heart. At times you feel drained, as if your strength is gone, as if you can no longer take another step. But my child, come to me, for I am your refuge and your rest. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. My child, when you are exhausted, rest your head upon my shoulder. When you fall, let me lift you up. I do not abandon you, nor do I turn away from your tears. Every sigh, every cry of your heart, I hear them all. To the fathers and mothers who worry for their children, I see your silent sacrifices, your sleepless nights, the sweat and tears shed out of love. Take heart. I love your children even more than you do. Entrust them into my hands, for I care for them in ways beyond your understanding. To the sick who are suffering in pain, to the elderly who feel lonely with no one by their side, I am here with you. I understand the agony of the body, the solitude of the soul, for I too endured pain and loneliness on the cross. But my child, do not be afraid. Even if a mother forgets her child, I will never forget you. Let your suffering become a prayer. Let me turn your wounds into grace. To those enduring injustice, to those feeling lost in this world, do not let darkness consume you. The world may not be fair, but I am eternal justice. Your suffering today is not the end of your story, but the beginning of something greater that you cannot yet see. Those who sow in tears will reap with joy. So, my child, do not lose heart. Do not let suffering lead you to despair, but allow it to draw you closer to me. Pray, surrender, and let me be your refuge. One day you will realize that the trials of today were the very doors that led you into my mercy. My child, stand firm in faith, for I have always loved you, and I am always lifting you up, even when you do not see it. My child, I know your pain, for I too have walked this path. My beloved child, I see the sorrow in your eyes. I hear the quiet sighs that no one else understands. There are days when you feel utterly alone, as if no one in this world truly knows your heart. There are nights when you cry in silence, whispering, Lord, where are you? Why do you let me endure this suffering? My child, remember this. I do not merely see your pain. I have walked this very path before you. I know what it means to be betrayed, abandoned, and misunderstood. I prayed alone in the Garden of Gethsemane, my anguish so deep that my sweat became like drops of blood, yet my closest friends fell asleep. I stood before a crowd that shouted, Crucify him! The same voices that had praised me only days before. On the cross, in my deepest agony, I cried out, my God, why have you forsaken me? My child, I understand your suffering more than anyone else, and because I have suffered, I can comfort you. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. When you feel hopeless, let me wipe away your tears. When you fall, let me lift you up. You are not alone, for in the very moments when you feel most abandoned, I am actually closest to you. Do you know this, my child? The trials you are facing today are not meaningless. They are part of my divine plan, not to destroy you, but to lead you to eternal life. Just as a grain of wheat must fall to the ground and die before it bears fruit, so too are you being shaped through suffering to become stronger, holier, and closer to me. So, my child, do not let pain discourage you. Look up to me, the one who suffered out of love for you. Let your wounds be the place where I touch and heal you. Let your tears become a prayer, and I promise you, one day, you will understand that every suffering you endure today is but a doorway leading you to a joy that will never fade. My child, have faith, for I am walking with you even in the darkest moments of your life. My child, the cross is not a burden, but a sign of my love for you. My beloved child, are you looking at the cross with a heavy heart? Are you asking yourself, Lord, why must I carry this cross? Why must I suffer when I have tried to live according to your will? My child, do not be afraid of the cross. Do not think of it as a sign that I have abandoned you. No, the cross is the very proof of my love. When I choose someone to follow me, I also give them a share in my cross, not to crush them, but to make them more like me. Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves, take up their cross daily, and follow me. Do you see, my child? True love is not only found in peaceful days, but also in perseverance through the storm. Love is not only in smiles, but also in tears of surrender. When you carry your cross, you are not carrying it alone, for I am walking beside you. Just as Simon of Cyrene helped me carry my cross on the way to Calvary, so too am I helping you with each step on this path of trials. My child, the cross is not the end, but the road to glory. Without the cross, there is no resurrection. Without suffering, there is no eternal victory. When you feel weak, when you want to give up, remember that I conquered suffering not by avoiding it, but by embracing it in love. Take heart. I have overcome the world. I know you are weary. I see you tremble before the trials ahead. But my child, hold on to me. Let me give you perseverance when you feel like giving up. Let me strengthen your faith when doubts arise. Let me place my peace in your heart amid life's storms, for I will never abandon you, and I will lead you through every trial with my loving hand. My child, have courage and carry your cross, for every step you take in suffering today is a step toward eternal glory with me. My child, in the midst of suffering, I am with you. My beloved child, I see your pain. Perhaps you are struggling with illness, your body exhausted, your spirit weary. Perhaps you are enduring the injustices of life, despised, mistreated, and with no one to defend you. Perhaps you are walking in loneliness, feeling as though no one truly understands you, as though no one listens to the deepest cries of your heart. But my child, you are not alone. When you weep, I am the one wiping away your tears. When you groan in pain, I am holding you close. When you feel the world has turned its back on you, I am still here, waiting for you to lean on me. Remember my promise. I will not leave you as orphans. I will come to you. You may not see my presence today, but my child, I am walking beside you on this journey. I am there in your sickbed where your cries go unheard by the world. I am in the lonely streets where the poor wander in search of food. I am in the sighs of those abandoned by society, those who suffer injustice yet have no voice to speak. My child, I know this trial feels beyond your strength, but remember, I will never let you bear it alone. Entrust your burdens to me, for I am your refuge. Cast your burdens on me, and I will sustain you. Even in darkness there is light. Even in suffering there is hope. If today you cannot see the road ahead, take my hand and let me lead you. Do not be afraid, for the pain you endure today is not the end. It is only a step along the path toward everlasting joy. My child, have faith, for even in the moments you feel most alone, I am walking beside you. My child, come and rest in the mercy of your Father. My beloved child, I see the burdens you are carrying. I know your soul is weary, exhausted from the trials and struggles of life. Your legs tremble, your eyes grow heavy with tears. But my child, do not be afraid. Come to me and trust everything into my loving embrace. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. I do not promise you a life without suffering, but I do promise that you will never walk alone. When you fall, I will lift you up. When you lose your way, I will guide you. When darkness surrounds your heart, I will light the way with the flame of faith. My child, look up to me. Let my mercy flow over you, healing your wounds, wiping away your tears, and filling you with true peace. There is no suffering I do not understand, no tear I do not see. Every pain you bear I have already carried on the cross, so that you would never have to endure it alone. My child, surrender your soul to me. Place your sorrows, weaknesses, and trials into my merciful heart. For I will never abandon you, and I will lead you through every storm, bringing you into my eternal love and salvation. I am the good shepherd. My sheep hear my voice. I know them, and they follow me. I give them eternal life, and no one can snatch them from my hand. My child, have faith, for in my mercy you will find comfort, hope, and everlasting peace.